Start your own passive online income. Your online success starts now. Welcome to the Online Success Podcast with Michael Brown and Justin Lewis.
Welcome to another edition of the Online Success Podcast with Michael Brown. And as always, I'm here with Justin Lewis. Justin, how's it going, man?
What's up, everybody? I'm doing good. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, it's been a while. We're a little, we've had a lot going on, bad weather, storms. I mean, it's been a crazy season so far, but we're back, and we do apologize for anyone who was, looking for this, because we did have a lot of people asking us when we were going to be back with one of these, and just taking a couple extra weeks this time, but we are back officially, and we're back on schedule. So
yeah, we actually just organized an entire schedule so that we stay more dedicated to the Online Success Podcast. So it's going to be really exciting for the upcoming podcasts, because they're going to be on an actual schedule.
Yeah, and we'll be announcing them and keeping a little more on top of the schedule for you guys. So we'll be showing you the schedule and just keeping it up to date now. So that's always a plus when we get these out on a exact time basis.
Yeah, definitely. So Michael, what are we going to be talking about on this podcast?
We are going into the top 4 niche markets and why they matter. Now, these aren't, we should say here that they're not the exact top 4, but these are top 4 that people seem to like to make money in. So they're 4 large niche markets that people use over and over again to make a lot of money online. So that's how we're going to lead into this here.
Yeah, and really a lot of these are just some of the more profitable niches as well. You might not have interest in a lot of these, but they do make a lot of money, and there's a lot of backing behind them with things like Google AdSense, with affiliates, CPA leads, all types of things.
And it's important to note why we go through these that there are hundreds of sub-niche markets for each of these niche markets too. So even though we're reading off 4 niche markets, there might be 14,000 niche markets based off of these alone. Okay, so these are huge, and that's why, because there are so many sub niches to get involved into as well. So let's go ahead and get into these. Justin, do you want to go ahead and kick us off here? What the first one is?
Yeah, sure. So the first of our list of the top 4 niche markets is health and fitness. And really, I mean, who doesn't want to look better and feel better and, live a better life? So health and fitness, there's just so many sub-niches to this main niche market. And I'll just give you a few examples. For example, you could talk about six-pack abs. You could have a website dedicated to losing weight. You could discuss building muscles, living longer, getting stronger, and even, since Michael put this one together, looking good naked.
Hey, it's a real thing people want to do.
It definitely is. And really, health and fitness, it's just, there's so many more. I mean, we're only listing a few examples, but like Michael said, there's probably hundreds, maybe even thousands of different sub-niches for health and fitness. And I actually know a doctor right now who has a weight loss niche. And if you guys want to look this up, you can go to drkweightloss.com. And I'll also include that in the resource notes. And you can get an idea of how an actual doctor is going into the weight loss niche and helping women over the age of 40 lose weight. And I think that's really, really cool, because I just talked about the fact that losing weight is one of the sub-niches of health and fitness. Well, a sub-niche of losing weight is losing weight for women over 40. That's an extreme sub-niche, but he does very, very well inside of it.
And that's actually a great idea to kind of niche down a bit into each niche that you're going into, is kind of get into one of those sub-niches, so it's not only is it a little easier to break into.
Oh, I would say it's way easier.
It is. It's way easier, and it's more targeted. So think about this. If you have a website based on helping women lose weight who are over 40, that's going to speak to those women more than it would if it was just a general weight loss for women site. So the women who are over 40 who are in that are going to get more benefit out of it, and it's going to target them very specifically. So you can do that for any of these, and even from these examples we give you here, for instance, building muscle. So if you were to get into building muscle, you might not want to go into the big broad spectrum of building muscle, but maybe you want to be into something like building muscle for people who have desk jobs all day.
It's funny. I'm helping another client in the building muscle niche right now, and he has a Facebook page with about 14,000 people. Wow. I'll also include that inside the resource notes so you guys can see it. And what's cool is his target audience, I believe, is a very, very specific. I think he's targeting Greek people of the Greek culture.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's so cool because he's got 14,000 people, and they're all dedicated to the Greek bodybuilding.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a
niche.
Brilliant niche.
And what's also neat, and just since we haven't mentioned this just yet inside of this specific podcast, and we've talked about it in the past, you want to use tools out there to find these sub-niches. And the different tools that we use, and I'll also include resource notes on how you can use these and some links to other pages that we have inside of Niche Optimizer. You want to use the Google Keyword Tool, Keyword K9, and Market Samurai. And we're going to talk a little bit more about each of those. But really, the biggest one you want to use just right now, since it's free, is Google Keyword Tool. And you just want to go ahead, open up Google Keyword Tool if you have to. Just Google it. And once you get in there, you can type in one of these sub-niches. So for example, you could start off with weight loss, and then, or you could actually start off with health, and then find out that weight loss is related to health, and then find out that you can go into weight loss for women, and then you could also see that there is weight loss for women over 40. And that's how this doctor actually did that. So there's a lot of things you can find out with these tools.
Yeah, and once you find your, like Justin's saying, once you find the niche you want to enter, then there are thousands of other words that you can create other web pages around to rank for and to also send people to from your social accounts, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and all, anything else that you're sending people from. So it's like think of it as a big, basically, you got like an information center that you're going to send all these people to. Okay, let's move on to the next niche, which is finance. Okay, this is another huge market because who doesn't want to make or save more money? Okay, either way, people want to either save money or they want to make more money. So finance is always a big one, a very big one.
Yeah, and finance is also something that we're in. So the Online Success Podcast is all about teaching you how to make more money and save money as well. So what you're watching is an example of the finance niche.
Yeah, exactly. And Justin and I are specifically in either making money from home or working from home. Those are what we kind of focus on here with Niche Optimizer. Mm-hmm. And here's some other just various niches in finance. Saving money for college, that's a big one. Saving for a home, making more money, getting a raise, and working from home. And of course, this is just a very, very minute sample of the thousands of niche markets that exist for finance. There are so many different ones. And like Justin mentioned before, just open up your Google tool and start looking for finance keywords and just find different ones from there.
Yeah, and a couple other examples just to throw them out there would also be like coupons, things like that. Anything really that saves money. So you could actually go into saving money on insurance, saving money on mortgage, saving money on rent, saving money on your car payment. And you could just keep going on and on and on in all these different areas. Because you could also go into getting a raise at a corporation, getting a raise at McDonald's. You know, so there's just so many different examples of how you can get into the finance niche.
Yeah, because if you try to jump into one of these and you just jump into make money,
yeah,
it's not only is it not specific at all, which isn't going to help your audience, it's going to be incredibly difficult to not only rank for in the search engines, but to get people interested in it.
Yeah, and
you get that client base interested.
It's also hard to build a community dedicated strictly to something like that. When you say, I'll give you an example. You could say make money gaming. That's very easy to build a community around because it's a dedicated niche. It's a long tail keyword and stuff like that. And I'm only targeting gamers in that example. What we do with Niche Optimizer is we really teach about all different aspects of making money online, but we focus on making money online with a website and with a Facebook page.
Yeah, great examples there, Justin. I really like that. The make money gaming one, that's always a cool, like kind of a cool sub niche anyway. So, Justin, you want to go ahead and go into the next one here?
Yeah, sure. So the next niche that we're going to be talking about is real estate and travel. And there's just so many different examples of this as well. So real estate could really vary upon anything, and I'll give you an example of one of mine first. I have a website called apartmentsavers.com, and if you want to look up that website, you totally can, and you'll see an example of how I'm in the real estate niche and also in the finance niche of saving people money, because what I'm doing is helping people find an apartment and helping them save money on that apartment. So that's just an example of what I'm doing, but really the real estate and travel niche is just so expansive because you can travel anywhere. I mean, there's so many places you can travel, and then there's so many places that you could either buy property, rent property, or do anything like that. So a few examples would be traveling frugally, so saving money and everything, and going out and not spending tons of money while you're traveling. Again, that's a mixture of finance and travel. Exotic location ideas, and you can make money with that very easily by promoting things like air flights and stuff. There's lots of different ways you can do that. We're just going to mainly talk about the niches though. Buying homes and property in an area. And I would say one of the best ways to make money with that, because I've done it, is with Google AdSense. And Google AdSense does really, really well in the real estate niche. Apartment living, I gave you an example of that with apartmentsavers.com. And then RV lifestyles. And just to throw this one out there, I'm actually looking to buy an RV right now. So as soon as I move out of this house, which will be at the end of July, I'm actually looking to get into an RV and actually go travel and lots of other things as well. But there's so many different things that you can do with all of these niches. It's so expansive, and it's pretty ridiculous because even with RV lifestyles, all the other niches we just talked about, like health, finance, and real estate, they all work. They can all work together. You can all work all of these together because RV lifestyles, just as an example, there are a lot of people that get into the RV lifestyle because they want to go hiking, or maybe they want to go camping, or maybe they want to save money. So that's also in the real estate niches or in the finance niche as well. And it just keeps going on and on and on.
Yeah, it's a great example too with the RV lifestyle, Justin, because that's something that you're probably studying now just because you're getting ready for it. So again, you're just you're taking out two birds with one stone there because you already want to know about it. It's already something you're familiar with. That could be an easy one for you to get into. And likewise for anyone out there listening, when you have something that's in one of these niche markets that you're already like, oh wow, I already know a lot about that. That's a good call to get into. And we're not saying, hey, completely stay away from all the other ones out there. There might be hundreds, thousands of other niches that you can get into. But if you already know something about it and it's interesting to you, why not, right? Why not get into that?
An example, like if you want to get into real estate, you could get into, let's say you've bought a home in the past in a certain area. You could actually discuss the trials and tribulations that you went through when buying that home, and give people advice on how to help them find an easier way of buying a home or something like that. So if you pay a mortgage, you can help with that. If you pay rent, you can help with that. If you live in an RV, you can help with that. anything really, anything that you've ever done. If you've ever traveled to an exotic location, if you've ever traveled from the East Coast to the West Coast, you can create websites about these things, and they do very, very well on the internet.
Yeah, the travel niche is really cool. I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of cool travel blogs. So there's a lot of people into it, but there's good money into it also. So
And I want to give one more example about the with the travel niche as well.
Mhm.
And again, offline marketing, working with offline businesses can be a great thing for anybody getting into any niche. And I'll just give you an example with the traveling niche. Let's say you're building a website talking about traveling to. Come up with an example really quick. I guess like Houston, Texas. So that might work. So you have a website about talking about traveling to Houston, Texas. Well, you can actually build relationships with businesses out in Houston, Texas, and talk about those businesses on your website. And some of those businesses can also pay you money for talking about their business. So think about those things. Just keep them in your mind, because there are just so many ways to make money online. You have to think about them at least a little bit.
yeah, and that goes all the way back to one of our old podcasts, just thinking outside the box a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty with that is what Justin was just talking about with, getting into a niche market where you can go after some offline businesses that you might be able to get them to compensate you for writing about their business, and things of that nature. It's real easy to set up. I mean, you just contact the business and ask them if they'd be interested in you promoting them, and then set up a fee with them. It's just an easy way to get involved in that. So you don't always have to use, AdSense. I know a lot of people love to throw on AdSense on everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my favorite thing. And I love affiliate products, but it's just another resource that you can do, or do both. Have affiliate things on there and have, businesses pay you too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's a great idea, Justin.
And Michael, while you were actually talking, I had for anyone that's watching the video, I actually had to run out for a second because the pool guys just knocked on the door. So
I kind of wonder where I was like, am I by myself?
I was just wondering if anyone was listening right now and they suddenly saw me disappear or something.
I saw Justin run out of the room.
Right.
No, that's cool. So let's go on to, we'll go ahead and go into the final one here, which is insurance. Okay, and that can be premiums and discounts or other things that are involved in the insurance field. And we'll just go ahead and take a couple examples here. We'll look at a couple examples, niche markets that are related to insurance. So don't immediately think, and Justin has a good note up here on this slide, just as when you hear insurance, you might immediately jump to life or car or renter's insurance, but that's just a small fraction. And again, we're going to give you some examples. Cheap insurance is one, and it could be any type of insurance. Pet insurance, and that's a really unique one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's already websites set up about pet insurance, but again, that's a nice sub-niche to get into.
Yeah, there's just so many pets out there.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are people who have expensive pets. Some people have like a $5,000
A
Chihuahua
horse.
or something, or a horse, or
Mhm.
whatever, and they want to make sure they're protected and compensated in case something happens to their pet, or their pet gets sick and they need some help. Insurance for the disabled, which is another good one. Again, it's another sub niche there, and then insurance by state or region. Now, again, going into this, if you get into a giant overall niche from insurance, you probably have zero chance of getting much publicity for that, or even getting found in the search engines on things that are just very, very vague, or very just plain, like it's like my site's just about insurance. But if you get into a sub niche, again, you're going to have more of a chance to break into the industry, and on top of that, you're going to be targeting a very specific audience that is ultimately going to be a more targeted audience. So just a few things to think about here. And again, this is another niche that has thousands of other sub-niches on it. So not just these 4 that we're showing here. There are thousands that could go along with this.
Yeah, and Michael, another way to actually get into a niche like this, and remember, this is just thinking outside of the box, is to not. Everyone thinks that you have to build a website dedicated specifically to what you're promoting. So if you're trying to promote car insurance, everyone thinks you need to build a website dedicated to car insurance. But you don't always have to. You can still do indirect marketing where instead you build a website dedicated to cars and you offer car insurance, stuff like that. Same thing with motorcycles. A lot of people think that, and this is just from what I've heard in the past, they think in order to promote motorcycle insurance, they have to build a motorcycle insurance website. But you could also build a parts and accessories website that just promotes motorcycle insurance on the side or something like that. So there's a lot of ways to get into these niches indirectly. Just make sure that while you're also doing it, you have dedicated pages on your website talking about that insurance. Just because that can help you rank better in the search engines and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, great points there, Justin. And in going back to one of the earlier niche markets, if you were into the travel, again going back to the travel niche, you could have fine dining in advertisements for like fine dining in that area and things on the side as well. And have specific pages, as Justin just mentioned, just for those examples as well. So those products as well. So it's a really good thing to do. You can indirectly do it, or you could directly market all of these things as well, or both.
And that's a great example, the travel insurance. A lot of people don't think you need travel insurance, or they think it's a waste of money and everything, but what if something happens to you while you're traveling? You want your family to get something out of that. Just as an example anyways, I'm not trying to scare anybody from traveling. I'm just saying that all of these niches really combine. Almost every niche can relate to another niche, because with insurance, you can go into the health niche. You could go into, like health insurance. You could have discounts on insurance, and then you could also have real estate insurance or travel insurance.
Yeah, and you can just sit down and brainstorm just the way Justin and I are doing right now. I mean, you can sit and think like, hey, what can go with insurance? And you can even find, again, finding those small sub-niches and things that people might be looking for. You can investigate it a little further. If someone were to type in something like maybe they're looking for how to get insurance for diabetics, okay? Because if it's a pre-existing condition, what do they need to do? What can they do? And things like that, because I'm sure that has a lot of there's a lot of people with diabetes, and everyone needs insurance, right?
Yep.
So it's just something you can do. Just brainstorm a little bit, put a little thought into it, write your stuff down on paper as you're going through, and from that you can just research it.
Yep, definitely. And use those tools that we were talking about. Again, all of these things that we're discussing inside of this podcast are going to be on the resource page. If you want to access that resource page, just so you know right now, it's at nicheoptimizer.com/OSP14. And that's the number 14. And when you go to the show notes, I'm also going to include a bit more information about about the Google Keyword Tool, about Keyword K9, about Market Samurai, and I'm also going to give you access to a list of a ton of different niche examples. So you're going to have the main niche market as well as examples of interior niches or sub-niches of that overall niche market. So there's going to be a lot of helpful information on there. And if you want to access those show notes again, it's at nicheoptimizer.com/OSP and then the number 14. And then if you want to access all of our podcasts, you can go to nicheoptimizer.com/podcast, where you'll just see every podcast that we've ever recorded in the past and any podcast that we record in the future.
Yeah, and real quick too, I just want to make sure that everyone out there who's listening knows that if you are into another type of niche, don't panic and think, oh, I need to be in one of the top 4.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't need to. We're just giving some examples out there for people who have yet to start or are looking for another website to get into, another niche market to get into and build a website around, and just give you some ideas to show you how Justin and I can sit around all day and just brainstorm ideas And that's all there is to it. Just thinking and putting a little thought into it and then researching it.
Yep, and you can always incorporate some of these niches into your niche. So just a quick example, let's say you're in the recipe niche. You could always get into the finance niche as well by talking about recipes for under $5, just as an example. And you could just incorporate all these different things. You could say recipes, like Mexican recipes or Spanish recipes or things like that. So there's just so many different ways you can get into these niches, even if you're already in a niche. Even if you already have a website and a Facebook page, you can incorporate some of these into what you already have.
And guys, we just want to take a second here and thank you guys so much for being on this with us, for listening. And if you have questions or you have a comment about this podcast, go below the podcast here and just leave a question or comment down in the comment section, and we will answer those all personally. And Justin wants you, and I want you to as well, not just Justin. We want you to share. I looked at your picture and it made me say that. Hey, Justin, no, we actually want you to go below here too. And even if you don't have a question or a comment to share, if you wouldn't mind sharing your favorite niche or a niche that you'd really like to get into, do that as well. And if you have a question about any particular niche, ask us there as well too. And we'll answer it for you. Okay? I'm sorry, Justin, but that's our focus. That's what we want you guys to do. We want you to share that so we can help work with you on what you want to get into. And go ahead, Justin. I'm sorry for cutting you off there.
No, you're good, dude. And we're also going to be inside of those comments. We're going to be giving examples of other niches related to the niches that you express. So if you do say that your favorite niche is related to coffee, for example, Michael's already in a niche like that, so he could also help you. And give you some ideas of different things that you could do inside of that. And we'll just give some of our feedback on different niches that you express, as well as share our own niches that we're interested in.
Yeah, definitely, guys. And again, thank you guys again for listening. I'm Michael Brown, and as always, Justin Lewis is with us too. And we will see you guys in another podcast coming up very soon. We've got one scheduled for next week again, don't we?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll see you guys in another podcast here. Thanks.
Catch you later.